Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue that has shaken Port Charles to its very core. An event so brutal and so shocking that it will leave scars, not only on the lives of those directly involved, but on the entire community surrounding General Hospital. Drew Cain, a man who has already endured years of battles, betrayals, and heartache, has now become the target of an assassin. A figure so bold and ruthless that he stormed into the very heart of what should be the safest place. In Port Charles Hospital itself, the attempt on Drew's life has unleashed a wave of fear, suspicion, and desperation. And as the investigation unfolds, the picture only grows darker. From the moment the first bullet tore into Drew, the city has been holding its breath, waiting to see whether he will survive or whether his story will end in tragedy. It all began on what seemed like an ordinary day. But fate had other plans. Drew was blindsided when a mysterious gunman emerged from the shadows, his intentions deadly clear. The shot rang out, shattering the fragile sense of stability Drew had fought to maintain. Blood poured from his wound as he fell, and chaos immediately followed. Those around him rushed to his aid, but the question on everyone's lips was the same. Who would want Drew dead, and why strike now, when his life already seemed so entangled in complicated webs of loyalty and betrayal? Even as he fought through the initial shock of being wounded, Drew's anger and suspicion burned. In his mind, faces flashed at Nina, whose complicated ties to his past made her an easy target for mistrust, and Tracy, a woman whose influence and ruthless streak could certainly extend to ranging in assassination, if it served her interests. To Drew, it felt as though the circle of trust was closing in on him, and every ally might in fact be a hidden enemy. But the story did not end with that first attempt. What makes this case more chilling than any random act of violence is what came next. The assassin was not finished. In a display of audacity rarely seen, he returned to the very place where Drew was supposed to be safe. General Hospital, with its long history of treating the wounded and mending the broken, became the hunting ground for a predator determined to finish his mission. Moving silently through the halls with a silenced weapon in hand, the gunman made it clear that this was not about sending a warning or inflicting temporary pain. His goal was Drew's death, and nothing less. As patients and staff scrambled in terror, the gunman closed in, and shots echoed once more, cutting through the sterile calm of the hospital corridors. This second attack was more devastating than the first. Already weakened and fighting for his life, Drew was struck again, his body giving way under the relentless assault. Doctors rushed him into emergency care, their hands moving with practiced speed but their hearts heavy with dread. The wound was catastrophic, and as the monitors beeped with failing rhythms, the grim truth settled over the room. Drew might not make it out alive. The once indomitable fighter was slipping deeper into the abyss, his life hanging by a thread so fragile that any moment could be his last. Whispers spread through the hospital, hushed voices carrying news that no one wanted to hear. Some said Drew had already crossed the point of no return. Others clung to fragile hope, insisting that if anyone could claw their way back from the brink, it was him. Yet the overwhelming sense was that death was closing in fast, and time was no longer on his side. Meanwhile, outside the operating room, Dante Falconeri was consumed by the urgency of his mission. The detective knew that this was no random shooting. The precision, the determination, the sheer recklessness of striking twice in such a short time, especially inside a hospital, pointed to a deeper conspiracy. This assassin was not a lone wolf, was working for someone who wanted Drew gone. Someone powerful enough to plant such a strike and cold enough to risk everything. In order to see it succeed, Dante began pulling at every thread he could find, interrogating witnesses, piecing together security footage, and tracing possible motives. Each path led to suspicion but no clear answers. The possibility that someone within Drew's circle of acquaintance or worse, within the hospital itself, was pulling the strings could not be ignored. The thought that an insider might have opened the door to this deadly attack chilled Dante, for it meant that no one could be trusted, and the conspiracy could run deeper than anyone had imagined. Drew's condition only fueled the desperation. Lying unconscious, drifting further into a coma, he became both victim and symbol. To some, he represented strength under fire, a man unwilling to bow down to those who sought to destroy him. To others, he was now a liability, a ticking time bomb of secrets that someone desperately needed silenced. The more Dante investigated, the more he realized that Drew's life and death carried implications far beyond one man's fate. If Drew survived, he might be able to expose the truth. If he died, the answers could be buried with him, leaving the assassin's employer free to manipulate Port Charles without fear of discovery. The attack sent ripples of fear through every corner of the city. Families huddled together, whispering about who could be next. Friends turned wary eyes on one another, wondering if the face across from them was hiding something darker. In Drew's mind, before he slipped too deeply into unconsciousness, the accusations he hurled toward Nina and Tracy echoed like poison. Could Nina, with her history of manipulation and secrets, really have gone so far as to eliminate him? Could Tracy, with her ruthless streak, have calculated that Drew's removal served her ambitions? While the evidence was thin, suspicion is often as powerful as proof, and in Port Charles, even a shadow of doubt can destroy relationships and reputations. As doctors fought to stabilize Drew's failing body, Dante pursued every lead. Knowing that time was slipping away, the assassin had proven his resolve, and nothing suggested he would stop now. If Drew somehow lived, the killer would surely strike again. If Drew died, the killer would melt back into the shadows, protected by whoever had sent him. The detective's frustration mounted as every answer opened new questions. The deeper he dug, the clearer it became that this was not just an attack on Drew, but an attack on the very heart of the city. A message that no one, not even in the sanctity of General Hospital, was safe. The fate of Drew Cain now hangs in the balance, and with it, the future of everyone connected to him. Will he survive against all odds, emerging from the coma with renewed determination to expose his enemies? Or will the assassin's bullet succeed where medicine and resilience cannot, silencing Drew forever and plunging Port Charles into mourning? The uncertainty gnaws at those who care for him, and the fear of the unknown keeps the city on edge. One thing is certain, the attempt on Drew's life has set into motion a chain of events that cannot be undone. Secrets will be revealed, alliances will crumble, and when the truth finally emerges, Port Charles may never look the same again. This is not merely a story of one man's struggle for survival. It is a tale of betrayal, of hidden enemies, of vengeance delivered with calculated cruelty. The assassin has already shown that he is willing to risk everything, and his employer remains shrouded in mystery, pulling strings from the shadows. As Drew battles for his life, Dante races against time, not only to catch a faceless killer, but to protect a city that has already lost too much. Every heartbeat Drew clings to is a defiance against those who want him silenced, and every moment of his survival is a reminder that in Port Charles, nothing is ever as it seems. This chapter in the saga of General Hospital is far from over. In fact, it may only be beginning. Drew's blood stains the hospital floor, but the echoes of the gunfire reach far beyond the walls of that building. The lives of Nina, Tracy, Dante, and every other figure in Drew's orbit are forever altered. And as the pieces of the puzzle come together, the shocking truth about who ordered the hit and why may turn friends into enemies, and expose betrayals so deep they cannot be forgiven. For now, the world waits, breathless, as Drew hovers on the razor's edge between life and death, and as the assassin disappears into the night, leaving behind fear, chaos, and the promise that he will return if his mission remains unfinished. Next, we will learn about the intriguing mystery surrounding Kevin Collins and how his prolonged absence is shaking up the dynamics in Port Charles, leaving fans buzzing with frustration and speculation. In the ever-twisting world of ABC General Hospital, characters come and go, but when someone like Kevin Collins vanishes from the screen for what feels like an eternity, it raises serious questions about his future on the show. Spoilers hint that if Kevin isn't making appearances anytime soon, it might be time to consider him gone for good, perhaps paving the way for fresh storylines that could redefine relationships in Port Charles. Fans have been vocal about their disappointment, pointing out how his absence creates a void in the narrative, especially amid the high-stakes drama involving family secrets and hidden agendas. Imagine the bustling halls of General Hospital without Kevin's calm, psychiatric expertise like missing a key puzzle piece. In a storyline riddled with emotional turmoil, this isn't just about one character's hiatus. It's about how his disappearance affects the overall rhythm of the soap, leaving viewers wondering if the writers are intentionally shifting focus to newer, more explosive arcs. Adding to the intrigue, rumors swirl that Kevin might be tied up in an off-screen adventure, perhaps dealing with a secretive case that could bring him back with explosive revelations. But until then, his spot in the spotlight remains empty, fueling endless debates among the dedicated fanbase. Of course, the person feeling this absence the most profoundly is none other than his devoted wife, Laura Spencer, who has been navigating the chaos of Port Charles largely on her own. As the matriarch of the Spencer family, Laura's life is a whirlwind of political intrigue, family crises, and unexpected alliances, and without Kevin by her side, she seems adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Spoilers suggest that Laura's storyline could take a dramatic turn if Kevin doesn't resurface soon, possibly leading her to seek comfort in old flames or new confidants. Think about the emotional weight she carries balancing her role as mayor, dealing with her grandchildren's troubles, and now facing the loneliness of a marriage strained by absence. Fans argue that Laura, with her rich history of resilience and heartbreak, deserves a partner who can match her strength and provide the stability she craves. This void highlights how integral Kevin has been to her character development, offering a grounding presence amid the soap's signature betrayals and surprises. Perhaps the writers are building tension for a grand reunion, where Kevin returns with secrets that could either mend or shatter their bond. But for now, Laura's solitude adds a layer of poignant drama to her already compelling arc. Many viewers firmly believe that Laura Spencer truly merits a vibrant love life on the show, one that reignites the passion and romance that have defined her journey over the decades. After all, she's not just any character, she's a cornerstone of ABC General Hospital, with a legacy of epic love stories that have captivated audiences. And let's not forget the talented Jeannie Francis, the actress behind Laura, who has masterfully portrayed every nuance of love, loss, and redemption. Fans feel it's high time for Jeannie to dive into a new romantic chapter, perhaps with a character that the show fully commits to, allowing for deeper emotional exploration and on-screen chemistry. This could involve intricate plots where Laura rediscovers her spark, maybe through chance encounters at charity events, or intense confrontations in the hospital corridors. Inventing new elements, picture Laura attending a high society gala in Port Charles, where she crosses paths with a mysterious newcomer who challenges her views on love and loyalty, all while Kevin's shadow looms large. Such developments would not only honor Jeannie's acting prowess, but also refresh Laura's narrative, blending nostalgia with innovative twists that keep the soap fresh and engaging. Naturally, the ABC General Hospital community has erupted with opinions on this topic, sharing heartfelt thoughts across social media and fan forums. One enthusiastic supporter gushed about the Kevin-Laura duo, emphasizing how their partnership shines when given proper screen time. "I absolutely adore Kevin and Laura together," they might say, highlighting the stellar performances that bring authenticity to their scenes. Their chemistry as actors translates into a believable, mature romance that anchors the show's family-oriented plots. Much like a warm hearth in a stormy narrative, this pairing represents stability in a world of constant upheaval. With Kevin's steady demeanor complementing Laura's fiery spirit, fans appreciate how their relationship fosters moments of genuine tenderness, such as quiet evenings discussing cases or supporting each other through crises, which could be expanded into subplots involving joint investigations or family gatherings. It's this realness that makes them a fan favorite, suggesting that if Kevin returns, their storyline could evolve into something even more profound, perhaps involving shared adventures that test their vows in unexpected ways. On the flip side, not everyone is convinced, with some critics proposing alternative romantic paths for Laura that could inject more excitement into her life. One idea floating around is reuniting her with Scott Baldwin, her original love and first husband, whose history with Laura is steeped in passion and unfinished business. Their past could resurface in dramatic fashion, maybe through a legal battle or a family reunion that forces them to confront old feelings. Alternatively, introducing a new character, a widowed doctor around her age, stepping in as the new chief of staff at General Hospital could shake things up. This shift might see Portia returning to her roots in her medicine, focusing on high-pressure emergencies, while Terry resumes her oncology work, dedicating herself to patient care and research breakthroughs. Such changes would not only revitalize the hospital's hierarchy, but also give Laura a compelling new suitor, perhaps one with a backstory of personal loss that mirrors her own, leading to heartfelt connections amid the medical chaos. Delving deeper into the dissatisfaction, another fan expressed mixed feelings about Kevin's role, noting that even if he were present, the pairing doesn't always hit the mark for them. "Kevin is the kind of reliable guy I'd recommend to a friend like Laura in real life," they commented. But as the leading lady of ABC General Hospital, she deserves a love interest with more fire and complexity. This sentiment underscores a desire for a partner who can challenge Laura intellectually and emotionally, someone dynamic enough to stand toe-to-toe with a soap opera legend. Kevin, while kind and supportive, sometimes feels like a background figure, merely filling the husband role without driving major plot momentum. Fans envision a more compelling match, perhaps a charismatic rival from Laura's past, or a bold newcomer with hidden motives that could spark intense storylines involving jealousy, secrets, and redemption. This critique points to broader issues in character development, where supporting roles like Kevin's need more depth to avoid being overshadowed. Furthermore, spoilers tease that Kevin's time in Port Charles might be winding down, as his extended absence treats him like a temporary stand-in, rather than a fully fleshed-out character. It's as if the writers are using him as a convenient spouse for Laura, without investing in his individual arcs, which diminishes the potential for richer storytelling. In a show built on intricate relationships, this placeholder status feels like a missed opportunity, especially when compared to the explosive pairings that define General Hospital's legacy. Imagine if Kevin's return involved a shocking twist, like discovering a long-lost relative or unraveling a conspiracy that ties back to Laura's familialments that could elevate his role from sideline to central. Yet, the reality is stark. Without meaningful development, his presence risks fading into irrelevance, prompting fans to speculate on whether a permanent exit is on the horizon. Without a doubt, devotees of ABC General Hospital will need to stay glued to their screens every single day to uncover the next twists and turns in this unfolding saga. The soap's signature blend of romance, mystery, and family drama ensures that Kevin's fate and its impact on Laura will keep evolving in surprising ways, possibly leading to heartfelt reunions or bold new beginnings. Next, we will learn about the tangled web of secrets, scheming, and second-guessing that has exploded since Drew Cain's shocking shooting in Port Charles. Drew's brush with death has flipped every relationship he touches on its head. In recent weeks, the congressman has been laser-focused on one mission: win back Willow Tate, by any means necessary, and restore her place at her children's side. Friends warned him that tampering with custody law could backfire, but desperation makes a dangerous dance partner. Drew's search for leverage uncovered evidence that Judge Eva Heron accepted a sizable offshore bribe moments before she stripped Willow of custody, proof potent enough to topple Michael Corinthos' victory in court and, in Drew's mind, clear a path back into Willow's heart. The discovery carried a lethal price. Hours after Drew confronted the judge in private chambers, Heron's lifeless body washed ashore near Spoon Island, her robe still clinging to seawater-soaked rocks. Whispers point toward Jen Sidwell, an elusive power broker with ties to more than one Quartermain enemy. Yet detectives can't pin down his whereabouts the night of the murder. Drew insists Sidwell engineered the bribe, but insiders claim the congressman himself wanted the judge silenced before she could rule in Michael's favor at the next custody hearing. With Heron gone, the case resets unless someone can prove Drew orchestrated the kill. That possibility has sparked a theory worthy of a noir thriller. Drew staged his own shooting to frame Michael and torpedo his custody claim once and for all. The congressman knows Port Charles juries react viscerally to children losing parents, and nothing would taint Michael faster than an attempted homicide wrapped in a custody battle. Investigators now believe Drew paid a hired gun to wound him superficially, banking on a dramatic hospital scene that would paint Michael as a ruthless heir, willing to eliminate competition. The plan nearly worked until a shadowy figure delivered an unexpected second shot, intended to finish the job. Eyewitness fragments add layers to the mystery. Kai Taylor and Trina Robinson, hiding in an upstairs bedroom, heard the first muffled crack, followed by Drew's grunt and the thud of his body hitting tile. Minutes later, a sharper report rang out evidence of a different weapon. Experts say the duo glimpsed a tall, gloved silhouette fleeing through the French doors toward the Quartermain boathouse, vanishing just as Tracy Quartermain raced inside. Ballistics confirmed the bullets came from two separate firearms. One was a low-caliber round typically used to wound, the other a .45 designed to kill on impact. Port Charles now buzzes with speculation that Drew's friendly shooter lost his nerve when headlights swept the driveway, abandoning the plan and leaving Drew bleeding but alive. The real assassin, possibly Sidwell's fixer, or a rival with ambitions of their own size. The chaos to fire the fatal follow-up. That scenario explains why security footage is mysteriously absent. Cyrus Renaud decommissioned most hospital cameras during his brief reign, and Drew's congressional protection detail never installed private surveillance in his room, trusting the hospital's outdated systems. Curtis Ashford voiced the fear on every lip when he visited Drew's bedside. The killer could return to finish the mission. With word of Drew's survival spreading, anyone invested in silencing him from Willow's bitter supporters to Sidwell's financial partnership's motive to slip past understaffed night shift guards. The hospital board insists new cameras are weeks away, and Mayor Laura Spencer's plea for emergency funding sits stalled in committee, leaving Drew exposed to danger that could strike before dawn. Suspects multiply by the hour. Willow herself, still reeling from losing her children, swore she would never harm Drew. Her fingerprints were lifted from the doorknob, leading to the terrace where the shooter escaped. Portia Robinson, furious that Drew misused confidential medical files to smear Michael, has no alibi between 10 p.m. and midnight. Even Michael, whose empire faces collapse if bribery links reach the SEC, hired a crisis management team within 30 minutes of the shooting timeline. Police find uncomfortably swift. Beyond personal vendettas, the political fallout promises fireworks. Drew's allies in Washington are demanding a federal task force, while local reporters uncover a trail of encrypted messages on Drew's confiscated tablet, linking him to a private security firm notorious for staging overseas kidnappings. If prosecutors connect those dots, Drew could trade his hospital gown for an orange jumpsuit before he ever reclaims Willow's trust. Yet amid the spiraling chaos lies one immutable truth. Port Charles thrives on resurrection. Should Drew pull through, expect a courtroom showdown brimming with bombshell testimony, concealed audio recordings, and last-minute witnesses flown in from undisclosed locations. Willow's heart will be torn between gratitude that Drew survived and horror at the lengths he might have taken to win her back. Michael, cornered, may leverage Corinthos' family power to unearth the second shooter, hoping the real mastermind's identity wipes suspicion from his name. For now, every corridor in General Hospital hums with tension. Staff glance over shoulders, visitors jump at elevator dings, and the Quartermain estate glows with round-the-clock spotlights that barely pierce the gathering shadow. Drew Cain's plot, whether victim, architect, or boathouse, set in motion a chain reaction that threatens to upend custody battles, congressional careers, and perhaps the delicate balance of power in Port Charles itself.